Hi everyone. So right now I'm just going to introduce you to the concept of really your first engineering official application, and we're going to talk about using the application called Cutter, Cutter, to reverse engineer a basic binary program. So this is just the introduction of it. So all right, imagine, for example, opening up a binary, and instead of like chaos or like a bunch of garbage, you see some sort of structured output. So instead of seeing all the gobbledygook of various weird characters on the screen, one right after the other, you see some type of structure. So instead of, for example, raw hex or like a bunch of garbage on the screen, you see a way you can logically analyze this, this grouping of seemingly foreign text. And the reason why you'd want to analyze it, of course, is to figure if there's any, order to it, if there's any linear order to it. And if you can establish some sort of order, you can try to predict what it does. Or more importantly, you can change what it does by looking at how it's laid out. And unfortunately or unfortunately, that's what Cutter does for us. Now, in the next video, we'll talk about other reverse engineering tools that are not Cutter, but rest assured this week is Cutter centric. Now, Cutter isn't just a reverse engineering tool, it's kind of like a visual translator, okay, between the machine code and human understanding. So the idea, it isn't just revealing what the code does in a particular uh, piece of memory or something. It's for us to achieve a higher, almost abstract understanding. Now it is powered by something called Radar 2, and it however, so it's like if Cutter is the user interface, what is the engine of it is Radar 2. And Cutter gives you, for example, interactive disassembly, the graph views of functions, a live memory insight, and a clean interface that turns reverse engineering into exploration. Now, when you load the malware into Cutter, and when I say malware, I would never give you potentially dangerous code that could essentially mess up your computer. And we're doing it doubly, we're taking double measures this semester simply because I'm forcing everyone to utilize virtual machines. So it's kind of like a sandbox of which you can play, quote unquote, with with the malware that really isn't malware. But as I'm saying, when you download the fake malware into Cutter, you're not just staring at assembly. You're watching a program which reveals the intent of the malware, of the fake malware, I guess. And the idea is if you can understand the intent of fake malware when you're in the real world and you actually get a chance to utilize real malware, you can understand that intent as well. Functions, they're something that defined almost like a subroutine of commands. With a reverse engineering tool like Cutter or like anything else, like Ghidra, for example, functions will unfold like a roadmap, and control flow becomes transparent or visible. Now you can also look at things like suspicious jumps. You can trace them. You can look for hidden strings. You can find them. And suddenly, the binary, of course, stops being a so called mystery. It becomes a story because reverse engineering isn't necessarily about guessing, it's about seeing patterns the attacker would hope that you'd miss. So today, when we open Cutter, don't think of it necessarily as a tool. Think of it as a microscope for code. And now let's go ahead and peel back the layers. But in order for us to start, we actually have to go through the steps of installing Cutter, and that's the next video.